While the big four banks are in the hot seat in Canberra, one of the major questions they're facing is what they're doing to stop scammers and what they're doing to help customers who fall victim. Jerome Laxale is the member for Bennelong and he joins us now. Mr Laxale, thank you so much for your time. You were firing questions this morning at the inquiry. A lot of questions about how banks are not really stepping in and providing enough support to their customers when they fall victim to these scams. Were you satisfied with the answers you were given?
Well, no, not really. And there is so much room for Australian banks to do more. And from the evidence that was given this morning, I wasn't too impressed.
We've all been targeted with text messages, scams of some nature. And one case study that you raised this morning was Sydney man Paul, who'd lost $130,000 when scammers actually infiltrated ANZ's text line. So he got a text message saying that his bank had been compromised, and it looked like it came from ANZ. He shared his story with 2GB recently. Let's take a listen.
I think the language in the email from ANZ is extraordinary as well, Paul. They've wiped their hands of almost all responsibility. They say, quote, while customer security is important to ANZ, ANZ does not have an obligation to monitor your transactions for you or to maintain watching briefs for scans. It goes on to say, although our findings have confirmed ANZ has met our obligations, we want to assure you that you are a valued customer, and we wish to thank you for choosing to bank with us. Gee, that must fill you with confidence, Paul.
Oh, mate, they're great. Look, I'll tell you what, mate, the account's getting closed and I'm going to another bank straight away. I've been with them for 38 years and this is how they treat customers.
So you rose this case study this morning with ANZ. What was their response?
Look, as was highlighted on 2GB, they only offered a paltry $2,500. They took a little bit of offence to the fact that this was characterised as hush money, but it was a final offer. They say they didn't know about the scammers, but we know that ANZ knew that their text service was being impersonated, yet they claim no obligation or responsibility. And I don't think that's good enough. And I think our community have come along the way, particularly when in the UK, we've got a law coming in next year forcing banks to refund customers in certain circumstances. But they've been doing this voluntarily since 2019.
Well, you put that very question to the committee today, and this was ANZ's response.
It's fine to say to make the banks pay for it. We can have that discussion. As I said, that doesn't stop the scams. In fact, you could argue that what we need to do is consumers need to have better education around don't send money to people you don't know, etc. So we've got to do a better job on education. We are investing in more technology to stop scams, to detect them, etc. But I think, with due respect, a simplistic answer of just saying make the banks pay for it does not solve the problem. It just moves the problem somewhere else.
The problem is, though, that if the banks don't pay, and they've got a lot of money, the customers are the ones who are falling victim, people like Paul.
Well, absolutely. Combined, in the first 6 months of this year, banks made a cumulative profit of $16 billion. And if banks aren't forced to do better, or if they don't choose to do better themselves, then they're not going to invest in technology which will help stop scamming. One bank has done that in the CBA. They've got technology which matches your name versus the bank account name, and if there's a discrepancy, it halts your transaction. But other banks haven't. That's an investment that all banks could make very quickly. They say they don't monitor transactions, but the ACCC in April asked banks to monitor transactions. So that's something that banks have a lot of resource, a lot of profits to be able to invest to keep our money safe. And that's why people give the banks their money, is to keep it safe. And it is clear that whatever's happening at the moment is not working, because money lost to scam, reported amounts went up 80% last year, and we know that 96% of money lost is through the banking system. There is absolutely scope for banks in Australia to do more here, and I'm hoping these next 2 days will lay out there, how little they're doing and how much more they can do.
Well done today, and we wish you all the very best for the next 2 days.